what the black man and woman needs to know about the nation, about the world, about themselves. Muhammad Speaks It. To order your 12-issue subscription to Muhammad Speaks newspaper, 313-371-7033. 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie is the grand champion of all bean pies. The rich flavor and smooth texture takes this pie to a whole new level of delicious. One bite and you'll understand why people all over the country call daily to order Kareem Bean Pie. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie.
This bean pie is delicious.
Muhammad Speaks presents Messenger Elijah Muhammad's Teachings by Minister Khalil Shabazz every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, 12609 East McNichols Road in Detroit.
Brother and sister, we're for prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praises due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful. So, Master's Day of Judgment in which we now live, the alone do we serve, and the alone beseech for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path of those upon whom thou hast spelled thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray have they heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none deserve to be served, worship, or praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. We'd like to acknowledge the brothers and sisters that extended us the greetings of Assalamu alaikum. We have Brother Mustafa and Sister Sharice Ali from Ohio. We have Sister Amaros from Iowa. We have Brother David from Gary. We have Sister Patricia Muhammad from Chicago. We have Brother Hop from New York. We have Minister Jabran Rashad from Chicago. We have Brother Wazir from California. We have Minister Al-Mutaqwan Ali from Philly. We have Brother Salim Shabazz from Florida. We have Brother Aziz Hassan from Virginia. We have Brother Ibrahim Muhammad from Florida. And we have Brother Malik Muhammad from Detroit. I'd like to say in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and in the name of his last and greatest messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'd like to greet the brothers and sisters with the Nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. Today, we like to talk about Judge Ketanji and the myth of the successful black woman. That's what we want to talk about today. First, we want to start with the messenger. And this comes from the June 27th, 1969, Muhammad Speaks, and it's called Black Universal Rise. The messenger says, the white man deprives the strong black husband, black brother, and black son of employment and places the black woman in the black man's place. If the war has deprived the country of its manpower and they have no alternative other than to use woman power for labor, this does not look so bad. But to think about black men roving the streets daily here in America looking for jobs, and the jobs are being turned over to his black woman. That's what's going on today in America. Now, we have some brilliant sisters. I'm not trying to take nothing away from this sister Ketanji. She's a brilliant sister. But the white man, because one of the things that I hate to hear sisters say, I hate to hear a sister say that black men are intimidated by a successful black woman, which is not true. No man is intimidated by the success of a woman. Now let's just look at what is called the wage gap. This is because the wage gap is not only in America. The wage gap is worldwide. Where nowhere on earth does a woman make equal to a man. If we just talking about going out working, women do not make equal to a man. Either you have Muslim countries, some of them women don't work at all, or you have countries where women do work, but they don't make the same as men. So we have what is called the wage gap, and this is from Forbes magazine. Sometimes they break it down and say where the gender pay gap is widest. Then they break it down and say the wage gap in developing countries. And then other times they'll say the wage gap in Europe, and they show you the different wage gaps. Then you have China, because I like China, because China is a world power. This is an article that was printed 3 weeks ago. It says women at work in China in 2022. And when you go on in the article, it say women are still paid less than men. So when sisters say that the black man is intimidated by a successful black woman, that's not true. Because nowhere on earth do they use women power when they can use man power. When men can work, men work. Nowhere on earth do they put a woman ahead of a man but in the black community. The white man has destroyed the black man. The messenger says he even destroyed our desire to think for self and do for self. He destroyed that. We don't even have a desire to think, the messenger said, for self. So the white man takes the white man takes the black woman and puts her in a position where usually they'll put a man. Just because they destroyed the black man. Made the black man lazy. So now they put the black woman ahead of the man. Yes, sir. So we can go on even further with the message. He says the white man has no respect for the black woman. And he never had any respect for you, the black man of America. It is shameful to see the black woman mixing among the disrespectfulment of the public. That's what the white man does. He has the black woman mixing with the disrespectfulment of the public. So no matter how intelligent the black woman is, she still gets disrespected. Yes, sir. Mixing among the disrespectfulment of the public. Yes, sir. So the messenger goes on. He says it's a disgrace. It is a disgrace for her to be working side by side with men who have no respect for the black woman of intelligence and good morals. Praise due to Allah. Because a lot of times they make it to seem like you don't want to see a black woman progress if you talk about them working. Because they have other articles that talks about childhood obesity. Because the dynamic that's happening now, kids are not eating home-cooked meals. So what's happening is children are becoming obese at young ages. I was reading an article where a kid had a heart attack at 13 years old. Because of the food they eat. Because the white man has changed the dynamic. Everybody working now. They make the black woman's job or being a mother somehow, you just a housewife. It don't mean nothing. When that's an important job. It's an important job for civilization to have mothers. Praise due to Allah. Somebody got to raise the children, the future generation. The messenger said, we live through our offspring. So you have, even with CNN, it says the racist, sexist, mud-slinging at Ketanji, Brown Jackson is disgraceful. This is what even CNN saw. Then you have the Inquirer. It says the disrespect Ketanji Brown Jackson faced was intentional and all too common. Everybody could see the disrespect that she was getting. Then we have another, this one was my favorite. This is from the Roanoke Times. It's a cartoon of a little black girl who was watching Ketanji. And it says, Mom, do I have to be twice as good and still be disrespected? Because Ketanji is highly qualified, Harvard graduate, and many of the things that they were saying, because I was watching CNN when they was doing the analysis on the questions that was being asked to her. They was exaggerating and lying on her. The decisions that she was making was far different from what they was asking her about in the interviews. So this sister is highly qualified, but she's still disrespected. Yes. And the messenger said it's disgraceful to see the black woman mixing with the disgraceful mint of the public. Yes. So now let's look at how did the messenger do it? Because a lot of times when we talk about women and sisters being housewives, we think that's oppressing women. Or we feel like we can't provide the black woman with good enough jobs where they can be successful. They got to be out there with the white man. Now let's look at how the messenger did it. This is an article that was written in 1963. It was in July 21st, 1963, Star Tribune. And it's called Wife of Black Muslim Leader Has Manner Formal as Her Dress. So this was an article written on Betty Shabazz in 1963. And this was from a woman named Ann Gerasimos. It says Malcolm X introduced his wife, who was sitting very straight at the table in the neatly emptied restaurant. This is Mrs. Shabazz, he said. We shook her hand and smiled. She acknowledged us impassively as a queen might greet a subject. Now, the messenger, sisters don't shake brothers' hands. Sisters only shake hands with other women, to make that clear. That's another thing that's different about how the messenger did. You ain't mixing all with any old strange man. You ain't shaking hands with men. It says she acknowledged us impassively as a queen might greet a subject. Then it goes on to say, it says she was wearing white gloves and a white veil over her hair, brushed smoothly across her forehead. Her gray tweeted two-piece cotton dress, buttoned to the neck, reached to the floor. Her manner was as formal as her dress, and her person equally as neat and attractive as that of her husband. This talking about an MGT. She ain't out mixing with the public. She's out being a queen as she greets a subject. So it goes on to say, it says, we asked about her name, the same as that of the Muslim restaurant in Queens, where we had been told to meet Shabazz, is the original tribe from which the black Muslims are descended. It says, for the wife of Malcolm X, this was one of the few interviews she had granted. It says, black Muslim women, as a rule, neither seek nor receive any publicity. Their primary role is caring for their home and families and obeying the moral tenets dictated to them by Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
Praise due to Allah. Now we think, because it says that this was the first interview she granted, because Muslim women don't seek or receive publicity. Now we'll think that's oppressing women. Those sisters were oppressed. But I like to always show these pictures of the MGT. It's so many pictures we can show, but these is my favorite pictures. Because this was in 1975. This shows the fruits of the messenger's labor. Now when you go, because they actually have pictures of the messenger's funeral. They got pictures of them at the cemetery. All the Muslims was sharp as a tack.
Yes.
They had Cadillacs, Rolls Royces. The Muslims had it going on. So this is a picture of sisters from the temple coming out to the street. All of the sisters got full-length minks on. All of the, and shirts. Every sister in line. Because I looked at these pictures several times. Looking at all, even the little girls had shearlings on. All the way down the block. They showing all these pictures of MGT with minks and shearlings on. This is one picture from the temple all the way to the block. And this was a sister by herself. That I'm like, wow, even her got a shearling on, full length. Every sister I saw had a mink or a shearling on, or a leather. All the sisters. Then they got another picture. The little baby got a shearling on. Sister got full length minks on. Then this is another picture of the sisters down the block. All of them you can see. Wasn't no shabby looking Muslim. Even when you see the side with the brothers. Same thing. Brothers' suits, nice tailored FOI uniform. Shearlings on. Some of them brothers had them little fur hats on. All these Muslims. So the messenger did not have where women were oppressed.
Right.
But the messenger made jobs for them.
Yes, sir.
Now let's talk about one job that the messenger made for the black woman. And we're going to talk about the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. This is the December 13, 1968, Muhammad Speaks. And this showed at Syracuse University, the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. It says, old issue of Muhammad Speaks newspaper is on display at Syracuse University School of Journalism with other examples of black news media, including Frederick Douglass papers. The material was assembled in special fall 1968 concentration on a black press within course called the specialized press. Because the one thing that we never talk about, and which I really hate, is we never talk about the messenger from a scholarly level. Because Marjorie Hassan, Sister Anna Kareem, and Baina Sharif were columnists for the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. They write books about them. This is real. They write books about them.
Yes.
Because the Muhammad Speaks newspaper was a world-class newspaper.
Yes, sir.
But we don't know, all praise due to Allah. We don't never talk about that. In a journalism class, in a university, they got the Muhammad Speaks newspaper up. But the messenger had sisters as columnists in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, but they still got no publicity. But they writing books about them today. Sister Anna Kareem, one of my favorites. Sister Anna Kareem went to Tuskegee University. Sister Anna Kareem started out just like Angela Davis. She was in the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. She was going to college. just like Angela Davis. Angela Davis spoke at universities just like Anna Kareem. Sister Anna Kareem used to be requested to teach sisters at universities. But you talk about Angela Davis, but they don't say nothing about Anna Kareem. And this is the November 18th, 1971, Muhammad Speaks. And it's called A Salute to Black Women. This was at the University of Michigan. Sister Anna Kareem was requested to teach the sisters at a university. But she got no publicity. You don't see her picture. You don't see her teaching brothers. She went to the school to teach sisters. Yeah. Still something for her to use her degree. Because she was a sister with a degree. Writing columns in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. To show you how great the Muhammad Speaks newspaper was. This comes from the September 2nd, 1966, Muhammad Speaks. It says, Negro College seeks self-reliance. Because back before they was calling themselves HBCUs, when they was still Negro colleges, before they had a Black Studies department, they had the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. To show you how world class the Muhammad Speaks newspaper was. Not only did Syracuse have it in their journalism class, but now you have a Negro college looking to have the black man with self-awareness. They use the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. So this is a picture of them in the classroom studying the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. It says university program includes reading Muhammad Speaks newspapers as one way of obtaining self-knowledge and self-discovery. These students attending class at the University of Massachusetts Upward Bound program assert the Muslim newspaper is enlightening, educational, and stimulating, offering a new view on a black man's position in America. This the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. Now, sisters still don't get no publicity, but they writing articles in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. I read an article that Sister Anna Kareem wrote. She wrote it on Jesse Jackson. When Jesse Jackson was talking about, I am somebody. I never heard nobody break him down like she broke him down. I never even thought about the I am somebody. She was talking about how the messenger is teaching the black man the knowledge of self. Then she say, we got this deaf, dumb, and blind so-called American Negro telling the black man, I am somebody. She was talking about how he don't know his own self. When the messenger of God is teaching the black man, he's the original man. She broke him down. But another thing that I like about Sister Anna Kareem, Sister Margie Hassan, and Baina Sharif is no matter how militant they was, they continue to be MGT. They stayed feminine. They still talked about submission to the black man. In this article, she wrote about how the black man made the white woman, going straight from the teachings of the messenger. She never, even as high as she went, she never stepped out of her position as an MGT. Never was masculine. Stayed feminine, just like an MGT should. But she used to break brothers down, these so-called American Negro leaders. So we have even more examples of the Muhammad Speaks. This right here is called Voices of African Diaspora, Black Media. This is a book written by John Wolford. This is a 15-page book written by this brother talking about his experience in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. Because we don't know the messenger from a scholarly level. We don't know that we can do for our own self. We do not need to have our women out in the public serving the white man. We can create jobs for the black woman where she can excel with a degree just like the white man. The messenger said, I taught you everything you need to know to go for yourself as a nation of people.
Yes, sir.
There is nothing left for another person to teach us. The messenger gave us our own black media.
Yes.
Well, you had black men because John Woodford left Ebony magazine to come work for the Muhammad Speaks. He was talking about in this 15-page book, which is really good to go and read. One of the things he said was amazing to see how the messenger was, even with lost founds. He was talking about how he remembered when the messenger got the Muhammad Speaks newspaper plant. He said a lot of the lost found brothers like to smoke. He said they like to go at lunchtime to go get that hog from the other restaurants. But he said when the messenger got the Muhammad Speaks newspaper plant, he said it was no cussing, no hog, and no smoking in the whole warehouse. He said the messenger had it on lockdown. He said that the messenger used to have FOI just walking through as security at the plant, making sure no hog, no smoking, and no curse. This was the atmosphere that the messenger made for the black woman. And he had world-class editors leaving the white man to come work for the messenger. And this is the dilemma of our history today. Because we don't never look at the messenger from a scholarly perspective. The messenger had world-class editors at the Muhammad Speaks. This is another brother. It says, famed black journalist Joe Walker's fateful meeting with Malcolm X. Now, of course, in this article, they try to give all the credit to Malcolm X. But the point is, Joe Walker, John Woodford, and many other world-class black editors work at Muhammad Speaks. Yes, and this was a job that the messenger also gave to sisters. Just one example of how the black woman can excel doing for herself. Writing articles for the black man. Writing articles to uplift her own nation. This is what the messenger taught us. So the messenger goes on in his article. He says the United States Post Office Department hires black women to fill jobs of the black mail carrier and many other jobs. The war has not taken the black men away in such great numbers that there are not still black high school students here who could have these jobs. But the black woman is out pushing carts of mail up and down the street from one door to the next, delivering the mail. She meets every strange person in the public. This is the messenger. Because the messenger didn't have the sisters out in the public, meeting every strange man.
That's right.
The messenger created an environment for the sisters. Praise due to Allah. Where brothers couldn't just come in and flirt with sisters. Brothers couldn't just come in and pat sisters. It was an environment where you couldn't even say a curse word in the messenger's establishment. Because the messenger said it's a disgrace for the black woman to be mingling in a disrespectful mint of the public. So the messenger goes on. He says this is for no other reason than to disgrace the black man's woman. He says with Israel, it was the aim of Pharaoh to disgrace Israel's woman. The lust and filth that the women of Israel inherit from Pharaoh, their slave master in Egypt. It says she carried this lust and filth to every country that they passed through, except when the army of Israel stood between them and strange nations. When given the least opportunity, they mixed with the strange nations. Pharaoh's men mixed and intermarried with the women of Israel. This is another thing that the messenger talks about. Interracial marriage. Because I was reading an article that was written by some sisters. They were saying that Ketanji could not have married a black man and been this successful. They was talking about the reason why she married that white man, because you can never become a successful black woman marrying a black man. This is what they was, I couldn't believe. They were saying that the black man don't accept a black woman being successful. It's the white man. So Ketanji, not only is she in there mixing with the disrespectful men of the public, but she married to a death. And the messenger told us about the doom of the white race. He said that God, the Son of Man, is going to separate the sheep from the goats. And he said this is what the white man knows. He said the white man knows that he is not going to see the hereafter. But he said he destroyed the black man. He said he took the black man and put the black man in his name. So the sister not only is mixing with the disrespectful men of the public, she married to the devil. And she got 2 slave names, Brown and Jackson. This is what the messenger say. Allah cannot take us away if we still have the names of the devil. Yes, sir. He said these names will cause us to go to hell. He said because these names are naming us as property of the white man. That's right. He said the white man made slaves out of the black man. And when he made slaves out of us, he gave us his name. So the messenger said we must give the white man back his names, his religion of Christianity, and his way of life. Praise due to Allah. So this is why you see this devil marrying a black woman. It's to take as many of us to hell as he can. Because the messenger was talking about, it was in the time of judgment. I believe that's the name of it. But he was talking about how the Bible, when it says God is going to sit in the midst and judge the people, he said something so heavy that I was like, wow. He was saying that God is not actually going to sit in the midst of the people. He was talking about how the Holy Quran says that we have a self-accusing spirit. That's right. He was talking about our works is going to condemn us. He said the white man is not going to be able to have a judge and a lawyer like he has now. He said your record will condemn you. Praise due to Allah. Like, wow. No judge, no jury. He said that self-accusing spirit is what's going to condemn us. Then he said that part in the Holy Quran where it says Allah blesses whom he pleases when he pleases. He said that's talking about because if it wasn't for the mercy of Allah, he said not one of us will see the hereafter. Not one of us. So that's why he said I stick closely to Allah. And you have to stick closely to me to be able to follow Allah. Because we haven't met Allah, but we believe that the messenger met. So that's why we have to stick closely to the messenger. The messenger told us to have up that actual facts board in every meeting so that the black man will be aware of what's going on in the time we live. The Actual Facts Board says, which one will survive the war of Armageddon? Because the messenger said that the judgment is not to come. He said, we living in the judgment.
That's right.
He said that the white man is doing all he can to deceive as many as possible. The truth has been made known. And the messenger said that we must accept our own and be ourselves.
Yes.
But if it's just an offer, he said, Allah's offering to us Islam. But if we reject Islam, then the messenger said we are fuel for the fire.
Yes, sir.
Because the white man in Christianity, the messenger said that is slavery, suffering, and death.
Yes.
He said if Christianity was a wet rag and you was to wring it out, he said every drop would be slavery, suffering, and death.
Yes, sir.
And when Sister Ketanji was being interviewed, one of the things they asked her was about her religion. And another thing about when you have all these successful black people, they had the brother, his name is Booker. I forget, I think he's somewhere in New Jersey. I think he's the governor of New Jersey or senator or congressman or something in New Jersey. Yeah, Cory Booker. These brothers is just Uncle Tom. They in there acting like, oh, I was so happy to see you. You black, I'm black. We got the suffering of our people. But the one question he asked her that made it obvious to me, he ain't nothing but Uncle Tom. He asked her about her mother being a teacher. He was like, and she was in a diverse school, right? It was diverse, wasn't it? She was like, yeah. What difference do it make? Why did her mother have to be in a diverse school? She couldn't even give the definition of a woman when she a woman herself, mixing with the disrespectful men of the public. Because the white man changed the rules for a woman. The white man now recognize transgender women as women. So now the law accepts them as women too. So this successful black woman, who is a woman herself, could not even give the definition for what a woman is. And she on the Supreme Court. How can the black man get justice with these kind of laws?
Yes, sir.
That's why the messenger told us that God had to come.
Yes.
He had to come to save the black man. The black man gets no justice.
Yes, sir.
Even with all the black people on the Supreme Court, they even changing the definition for a woman. They'd give a transgender woman more justice than the black man. They laws recognize them before the black man. So the messenger taught us. He says, which one will survive the war of Armageddon? He says that the white man has a cross to represent his religion. He said he got Jesus half naked hanging on a cross. He said that the cross is the sign of death. This is the white man's symbol for the black man.
Yes.
A sign of death. But he said Allah gave us a sign of life.
Yes.
That's Islam. Islam represents freedom, justice, and equality. Praise due to Allah. The messenger says that freedom, justice, and equality is the nature of the black man. He said Allah just came to give us to ourselves. That's what he said. Because Islam is not something that the black man has to join. The messenger said we accept Islam. He said accept our own and be ourselves.
Yes, sir.
He said our own is the whole planet Earth. He said this symbol, the star and crescent. He said the black man can wear the star and crescent 365 days a year. But he said the white man can only wear this symbol once a year. That shows you that it belongs to the black man. When we accepting our own, we accepting everything in the universe. That's what the black man rules. Praise due to Allah. I was listening to the messenger talk one time. He said when the deal goes down and black people realize all you had to do was just to accept your own, to see the hereafter. Say it's going to be a gnashing of teeth and say, oh, if I would have just went with the message.
Yes, sir.
When we see how easy it is for us to see the hereafter, just to accept our own and be our own self. And he said our own self is a righteous Muslim.
Yes, sir.
This sister is not being herself.
No.
She can't be a black woman or a woman at all. She got to be what the white man want her to be.
Yeah.
Now, if you are a black woman, how much success do you have if they telling you you can't be that successful with your man? Every other woman can be successful with her man, but the black woman.
Yes.
What kind of success is that? To where you gotta go back to the slave master's children to be successful. So the messenger told us, said, I done taught you everything you need to know to go for yourself as a nation of people. He said, hold on to Islam. He said that we will be the winner.
Yes, sir.
He said that Master Farad Muhammad is going to build a nation that is going to last forever. And he said, we're going to be the future rulers. Praise due to Allah. What kind of black man would not accept that? On the strength to know that we are the future rulers. And the world that Master Farad Muhammad is going to make with us. No other nation has ever reached that height in the history of the black man. This is the teachings of the messenger.
Yes, sir.
He said that the black man is the first and the best. We are the best people on the planet Earth. The messenger said, for one, we are original. We the first people. He said all other people came from us. The messenger told us that a scientist named Yaqub made the whole white race. That's how great the black man is. The messenger told us we made everything. Everything comes from us. So how can you be on the Supreme Court without the black man? When freedom, justice, and equality is our nature. He said the white man made with a nature to repel against freedom, justice, and equality. Messenger taught us that the white man was made to build a world completely opposite of the black man. He told us that the white man's nature is not to submit to the will of Allah. And he said that is why the day of judgment had to come. Because he said the white man is guilty of deceiving the black man. And he's also guilty of murdering the prophets and teaching the people lies about God. That's the white man. If the white man is a murderer of a prophet that came to put them on the right path, how can the white man have a Supreme Court that the black man want to be on? But that's what the messenger said the white man deceived us of. He told us lies about God. He told us that we all are God's people, when the white race are the enemies of God.
That's right.
And this is why they murdered all of the prophets. So the messenger said God set a day of judgment for the white race. But he said there is no day of doom for the black man. He said our time, we have no beginning nor an end to the black man. But the white man had a day of doom set before he was even made.
Yes, sir.
The messenger told us that the black man makes history to last for 25,000 years. He said that 8,400 years before the birth of Yaqub, that the black man knew his idea. He said Yaqub was born with a determined idea to make a people to rule the black man. He was to make a people to rule the black man for 6,000 years. The messenger taught us on the island of Pilar. He said that's where Yaqub wrote what we call the book of Revelations. He said he saw the white man's end. He said he saw God come. He said he saw God coming to crush the white man. So the messenger taught us that July 4th, 1930, Master Farad Muhammad came, God in person. Praise is due to Allah. And he came to save the black man. The messenger said he became acquainted with Master Farad Muhammad in 1931. He said that Master Farad Muhammad taught him for 3.5 years. He said the knowledge of both books, Bible and Holy Quran. The messenger told us that God chose him. Not like God came in a spirit. Not like God came in a vision. God came and personally chose the messenger. He chose the messenger to lead 50 million black people. Lead us on the right path so that we would not stumble and fall and be deceived by the white race. So the messenger, for 44 years, he taught the black man. He told us to hurry up and join on to your own kind. The messenger told us that we at the door. The messenger in 1964, he said, don't expect 4 more years. So the messenger, this shows the mercy of Allah. When you go read them old Muhammad Speaks newspapers, the messenger used to say that the destruction was coming in 1970. When you read all them old Muhammad Speaks newspapers, 68 in the 60s, the messenger used to say the destruction was coming in 1970. So 1970 came. There was no destruction. So the messenger in the theology of time, he was talking about Nineveh. Believe it was Nineveh, one of the prophets. God told him to tell the people that he was going to destroy the city in 40 days. The messenger said he didn't destroy the city in 40 days. He said that was put in there for us. Yes. That's a mercy for us. Because if Allah would have destroyed it in 1970, we all would have been dead. Praise due to Allah. So when you read that, them old papers, and it say by 1970 and it's 2022, that's reason for us to be thankful to Allah. Yes. Because we still ain't ready. Yes. The messenger said, don't pray for that day. He said, many of you will be lagging behind with a fearful and a doubtful mind. Yes, sir. That's what the messenger said. So it's a mercy for Allah that it's 2022 and he's still giving us time. Yes, sir. We go to the store and look at the shelves and see it halfway empty. Still giving us more time. We see transgender. We see men that look like women. No other prophecy is to be fulfilled. The messenger say, if it's any prophecies that hasn't yet been fulfilled, come show them to me. Every prophecy in the Bible has been, and Master Farad Muhammad is still giving us more time. That's right. That's for us to be thankful to Allah. Thankful for his mercy, because it can happen in any day. Praise due to Allah. And we can't even be mad. We ain't ready. But if it happened today, how you gonna be mad? When you look back over it and think he gave us plenty of time. The messenger told us to have food stored up in our homes for at least a year. He gave us survival. He gave us a Muhammad Speaks newspaper. He gave us everything we need. And in 1974, the messenger said you are left with no excuse. No excuse at all. We can't blame nobody but ourselves. That's right. That's bad to think about. Because it's always good when you can blame somebody. It's always good. If it wasn't for him, the messenger said you are left with no excuse. Even in 1971, when you listen to the message. And this one was heavy. He said, Allah can protect me from all of this. But he said, Allah causes me to go this just so you won't have no excuse. Yes. He said, I went to jail just like you. I want to be a father to my children just like you. I want to do all the things that you want to do. But Allah tried me just like he gonna try you. Yeah. And when you get tried, you will have no excuse. Yes, and that's real. Because a lot of times I think back like, why? Then you think about the message. Mm-hmm. No excuse. What you do to Allah? How many of us can be on the run for 7 years and still have strong faith in Allah? 7 years. And the messenger said it was plenty close calls. He said he used to walk through the house of his wife, walk through the front door, kiss her, and walk out the back. That's how he said they was on my heels. Then the messenger said, after you read him talk about all that history, because before that, in my close, he already was talking about how it was a slow process to go door to door. He said he used to be ashamed sometimes to have people come to the meeting because the place was so shattered. He talked about that. Then he talked about being on the run for 7 years. Talk about how the hypocrites took the temple down from 700 to 7, 500 to 4. Then he said on the eve, when Master Farad Muhammad told him that the hypocrites is dead, that's when the FBI locked him up to go to prison for 5 years. Yes, then he said, I never cried. I never pouted. Because he said, one day I knew I was going to be the winner. He do to Allah. Looking at the history, we ain't got no excuse. In 1964, in the laborers' meeting, the messenger told them brothers, I've been crushed before. I could get crushed again, but I'm still keeping on. That was the message. No excuse. He said in 1964, he said, if I'm dead, shot down, he said, you still got the truth just the same. So we have no excuse. Right. Master Farad Muhammad chose the best one to lead the black man. He is our prime example. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Well, brothers and sisters, we don't want to prolong the time. So I leave you as I came in the nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Enjoying the show? Help keep us on the air. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033 to make a donation.
Brothers and sisters, we rise for prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Soul Master's Day of Judgment in which we now live, the alone that we serve and the alone seek for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path of those upon whom thou bestow thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none is to be served, worship or praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us not to do anything to anyone that we wouldn't have done it to ourselves and treat everybody right, even the devil. Assalamu alaikum.